Okay, another halacha in Kavod Sefer Torah is that a person who takes out the Sefer Torah from Hechal, he needs to be extremely careful not to, Chas v'Shalom, drop the Sefer Torah. Especially, this is very relevant when there is Simchat Torah, that they're dancing with Sefer Torah. So one needs to be very careful holding the Sefer Torah tight or handing it to others in a way that Chas v'Shalom would not be dropped. So I saw that there is a minhag, if Sefer Torah is dropped, all the congregants, all the people attending that minyan, that Bet HaKnesset, would fast, they would make ta'anit. However, Rav Ovadia Yosef alav shalom says in his Sefer Yabia Omer that really, instead of fasting, one could also make another series of teshuvah. That the people in that Bet HaKnesset that Sefer Torah fell, they should all come together and learn, dedicate one day of the week for learning Torah, Tehillim, and perhaps Rabbanim should come and they should give them Divrei Musar, they should give lectures in Shemirat Shabbat, Shemirat Yom Tov, Shemirat Lashon, and all the mitzvot, making the people in that Bet HaKnesset do teshuvah. Because if the Sefer Torah falls, that's a sign people in that particular place, they do not, they are not merit, they don't have the merit to have the Sefer Torah. So this should be a time of teshuvah, and not always the ta'anit would do the same purpose. People should understand what are the mistakes, that they should correct their mistakes. So perhaps people did not do enough in Shemirat Mitzvot, Shemirat Shabbat, Shemirat Haloshon, and that's why the Sefer Torah fell. So another thing is that Sefer Torah must be written by a person who has Yirat Shamayim. He's a Yareh Shamayim. The Sefer needs to be Yareh Shamayim. He should have true fear of Hashem. True fear of Hashem. And not only that, his family have to be Yareh Shamayim. His family also should have fear of Hashem. They should all be careful in Shemirat Shabbat, Shemirat Mitzvot, and in their home they should be modestly, right? That they should be all the halachot kept according to Torah Kedusha. And if it's not, that would influence the Sefer. It's not like the Sefer is, the father, the husband is different. No, he's being influenced. And how much more so one who goes after buying a Sefer Torah. He needs to look into the Sefer, making sure that the Sefer is a Yareh Shamayim person who has fear of Hashem, who preferably goes to mikveh before writing the Sefer Torah, because going to mikveh makes the person pure. So the Sefer Torah is written in a much holy way. So one needs to be very careful that the Sefer is Yareh Shamayim, and especially when he is writing the Sefer Torah, is he writing it completely focused, or is he hearing the radio in the background, or is he taking calls or getting involved with other things? So if the focus is specifically in writing the Sefer Torah, then there is more Kedusha, there is more holiness, and the opposite is true as well. So there are two types of Sifrei Torahs. One type is called is the Holy Sefer Torah, right? That is, they apply certain oil on the parchment, certain white agent, right? Mushach, right? That this Sefer Torah would become much more smooth. So the Sefer, the person who is writing the Sefer Torah, he can write the letters and the words much faster, as opposed to other types of Sefer Torah that does not have this white agent, this oil, and it's much harder. It takes more time to write the letters. Which one is better? Obviously the Sefer Torah that has no oil. And the problem with the oil is, after few years, this oil, this white agent would fall, would get this attached from the parchment, making the letters also pasul. The letters also would fall, chas v'shalom, and making the Sefer Torah pasul. So every few years, they need to maintain the Sefer Torah, they need to rewrite those letters. So one should not buy these Sefer Torahs that are mostly cheaper, and rather one should go after the Sefer Torah that does not have this oil, this white agent applied to the parchments, right? So even though that the price is higher, but it's much more mehudar and is much better quality, making sure that this Sefer Torah would last for many, many years to come. So people need to choose better Sefer. There are all sorts of Sofrim out there. Right? If I may add, they even came out with this robot that is connected to computer. It's like an electric, it's like a pen that is connected to a computer, and the computer would command this pen to complete the parchment in a very nice way. Unbelievable. One should definitely go after a Yehudi. The Sefer Torah must be written by a Yehudi, not by a Goy. There are certain Arabs who know how to write the letters in Ivrit. Obviously that Sefer Torah is not kosher. Right? Obviously the Sefer Torah that is written by a robot is not kosher. Right? It doesn't have Kedusha, doesn't have holiness. So even though that the price is higher, if a person goes after a very good Sefer that is completely focused in his work, he doesn't have any other work than writing the Sefer Torah, writing the mezuzot and tefillin, he goes to mikveh every day, he learns Torah, and obviously his price of living is higher because he has a family to feed and all that. That is a better investment, and one should not doubt investing in that Sefer Torah. Praiseworthy are those who go after Sefer Torah, mezuzah, tefillin that are written by Yarei Shamayim, that are written by God-fearing people, and those people would benefit from these Sefer Torahs, mezuzot and tefillin much more than those traditional cheap tefillins, $200, $300, right? Or mezuzot that nobody knows who wrote it. Although they're cheaper, but obviously you get what you pay for.